What it is, what it is, what it is, YouTube, you know who it is. It's your boy, the Moose Squad. Let's kick it.
It likes to run, it loves to jump, no one could ever stop. A big or small party, it will be there, no matter where or when. A moose on the loose, a moose on the loose, it'll be party all day long. A moose on the loose, a moose on the loose, what are you waiting for?
Coffee Corner, where we discuss everything over a cup of coffee. Today, I have something for you. This is kind of interesting. This is a loop that I made for Linda Harrington Elementary, which goes by the Hawks. So it's a festival. It's a 4-hour festival, and they're going to have all kinds of dumps, a bunch of stuff. I take it and I gather, if you're familiar with a lot of places have cafeterias with auditoriums. They call them cafetoriums. So I'll be in a cafetorium. That's where this event's going to take place, in the cafetorium. Hopefully, I'll let you know more on Saturday when we go, because you're coming along with me. They know I shoot YouTube. They know everything about it. They know all the stuff that gives my creation. We will be going a little rocky, so it's a rock and roll theme. So I will be dressed as Axl Rose. I don't look like Axl, but I will be kind of dressed like Axl. I'll be dressed like a rock and roller from the 80s. The theme is 50s, 60s, 80s rock and roll. Notice they skipped the 70s, and I'm going to explain why. In the 70s, there was a lot of disco takeover, and rock and roll went a little array after Woodstock. They took a turn and they got all psychedelic. And a lot of the music was influenced by drugs. So a lot of music is influenced by drugs and alcohol, unfortunately. But 1970 took the form of acid and took the form of heroin, and it was okay in those circuits to do that. And cocaine was a hell of a drug back then too. It still is today, but a lot of artists were in recovery because of 1970. Steven Tyler is one of those in recovery. I don't know how many years sober, but I know that he's in recovery because they almost kicked him out of Aerosmith because of his alcohol use. So, that being said, let's go ahead and get into the loop that I made for Linda Harrington Elementary. Now, I'll be switching over to my phone because I can't get the virtual link to work in the phone in this OBS stuff. I've flabbergasted OBS. It's overtaken me. I've watched all my friend Michael Moore's series, and I still can't catch on to it. So we're doing it the old-fashioned way. Let's get into it. This is Odyssey. And I use this program a lot. It actually, it's one of my go-tos. It's after I create the beat in Zen Beats, which, let me show you Zen Beats. I'll be doing another beat here soon with Zen Beats. But I go here to create my beats. Speaking of which, I had to pay the subscription. It's free, but I pay the subscription to get different loops and stuff. Well, that's Zen Beats. Yeah, I want to exit Zen Beats. And I will be getting a bigger monitor for Zen Beats because you need a bit. Oh, I got one in the garage. So, okay, let's get in this because this is it. Linda Harrington Elementary. Let's hop and roll with the. Okay. If y'all didn't catch it, there was a hawk and there was a moose at the end. The grunt is a moose. Listen to it again. Linda Harrington Elementary. Let's hop and roll with the. Okay, first of all, the loop is different from what I started. Okay, so I'm gonna elaborate what happened. So I did the loop first. At first, you could hear air horn in the beginning, and then you hear, excuse me say Linda Harrington Elementary, hawk, and then the hawk was off after, and roll with the moose. And then it would go boom, like a big bomb went off. And DJ Mike's like, don't do that, don't do that. Air horns and bombs at schools. I get what he's saying about the air horn and bombs at schools because there's a lot of different things going on today. And so I edited it a lot. Now the guitar in the background, I got it from Free Sounds. I'll leave the website right here, Free Sounds. Go to Free Sounds and sign up. You can get literally free sounds from other creators. I'm about to put a couple sounds on there for myself. Start creating on Free Sounds and giving free sounds out to different creators. That's where I go to get my creations. So if you hear a lot of different sounds that you're not familiar with, I go to Free Sounds and I get them. I don't remember if it's it's right here on the bottom. Go to Free Sounds, check it out. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment below where you get your sounds for your videos. Do you incorporate sounds at your events? This is a loop that I made for introductions of me and welcome everybody to Linda Harrington Elementary, where the Hawks roll with the moose. Because, get it? Rock and roll. roll. Anyways, I went past you. I hope you like this content today. Leave in a comment below what you think. I just updated to Windows 11, which I think was a mistake. And I will be shooting a video about that later because I don't know. I'm thinking about going back to 10 because I'm having problems. Like big time. Like a lot of glitches and a lot of bugs with SERATO. I have never ever had SERATO freeze on me. It's frizz on me, so I hope it doesn't freeze on me in a gig. I'll let you know more about that. I know what you're going to tell me. Go to Mac. Nah. No. I don't care what people say. I like Windows. I always have, always will. When I was in high school, we had keyboarding class. And I'm not talking about keyboards. I'm talking about typewriter keyboards. And they had a Mac class that they made me take for a month in the keyboards to get familiarized with Mac, because Mac was semi out there. Windows hasn't taken over just yet. Windows was still IO, basically. Like Windows hasn't kicked out yet. It wasn't 1990 yet, so it was still in '89 when I went to high school. So the keyboard and the Mac has been out since '84. So it was actually the very first computer that they had. It was all in one computer. It was a big chunk. The monitor, keyboard, all typed into one, and it's just a big mess. But I did learn Mac. I didn't like it. From the start, I didn't like it. Then Windows kicked out. When it kicked out with this DOS first, and it was a DOS only program. You had to use DOS. You had to use run to get it started. When you typed in C in the semicolons and DOS, and you typed run, the computer would come up, and it would start. So that's the age of my computer. A laptop. If they made laptops back then, they wouldn't be like they are now. They'd be a suitcase, which they were. Because nanotechnology didn't take over until, I don't remember exactly when it took over. Type in nanotechnology and look it up. You'll see what I'm talking about. It just blew up overnight. Once nanotechnology took over, let me show you what I'm talking about. Give me a second. You can put information on this at the time. I don't have a flop. Here's. You can put a disk information on something like this. But at the time, the hard drives were thicker than this. Actually, were thick as this. This book. As thick as the book. Now, if you look at the book itself, you'll think, damn, he's got a big hard drive. No, it's actually thin. They put it in this book because it has all the computer components. So it's electric. So you're not just getting a hard drive that you plug in. It actually has a little thing with a bunch of BIOS and a bunch of it has a little motherboard on it and everything. So basically you plug it in, there's a little fan in there. You can hear it going off when it gets overheated. But I got my book from eBay for $89 for a 4 terabyte hard drive. And it's 4 terabytes. I only have 1 terabyte used. I think a half a terabyte used. And I got over 50,000 songs in my collection. Yeah. And I'm still building it because I haven't even touched the iceberg with some of the music that I get. You'd be amazed on how much music is like, what? And then how history repeats itself. You go to a gig and you play music at one gig and it was hot at that gig, and then you come to the next gig and it's dead. It's cold. So what ended up happening was they love cumbia. So I got the dancing going and everything else, and I put on that song Tao Tao by Control. Nobody was interested in that. They left it. But then I noticed if I had have played it later on, it had probably took off. So sometimes you could play it's a fire hit too. Type in Tao Tao by Control and you'll understand what I'm saying. It's a fire hit. It's a fire hit, trust me. If you're having trouble getting people in the crowd and you're playing cumbia, play Tao Tao by Control and you'll get them on the floor. The only difference was they weren't ready for it. And they have to be ready for that song. Because it's one of those songs that make you want to dance. But you had to be ready to dance. I played the cumbia, it took off. The party was jumping in and I killed it. By making a selection that I shouldn't have done. But they were hopping and I thought the song would take off, and it didn't. It didn't go nowhere. So I immediately replaced it with another song to set the fire back, and I did. I got the fire back on, but in the time that you try something and it doesn't work, don't continue to use it. Because if it doesn't work and you're using it, you're turning the people off. And getting the dance floor back to where it was rough enough already because you had to build up to where you were. And I had to start with kids. I started with the kids. I built the kids. The energy from the kids sparked a fire. I played a song. One of the kids, I think it was Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake. I played that song right there, and that started the fire. And next thing you know, the fire got more and the embers started burning and the embers were going. But it takes that one song. And that's what I'm talking about. Don't stay in something if it's not working. If it's not working, get out of it. Find something else to replace it, but quickly. Or if you're like me, you already have a couple songs ready. So if something happens, you can fire off another song and then fade that song out real quick and fade the other one in and be done. That's called quick mix. Sometimes you have to mix quick in order to get out of that, because trust me, you don't want to stay in it. You don't want to stay in it because that's when your ratings go underneath. Because that right there, my friends, the guy loved it, enjoyed it. He had fun. Matter of fact, they were going to end after the cake cutting. But I lit the fire. I lit the fire. That's all it took. I took requests. He said to take requests. Not play what I wanted to play. Play what they wanted to play. Because if I would have played what I wanted to play, nobody would have hit the floor. But as soon as I started playing and taking requests, I ran off requests the whole night. Oh, I love requests, man. Gotta love them. I can DJ good, but requests DJ better. Do a request and open up a request line and see what I'm talking about. You'll get a lot more interaction with the crowd than you can think of. It's not you're being a poor DJ. It's you're DJing correctly because you're gathering the music. And what did people say? You're not a record player? Well, sometimes you have to be. Sometimes you have to be. But once they light the fire and you kind of get an understanding of what they like, you can chase it. And that's what I end up doing. I chased what they had, what they threw me, and I nailed it. And I didn't have to play Baby Shark, which I was going to. Something told me to play Baby Shark. I would have probably lit the fire even worse. Them kids would have just started jumping up off the hook with Baby Shark, but I didn't play it. I wanted to, but I didn't. I held back because I knew it was a wedding, and I played the Baby Shark at a wedding before, and it started the fire, man. It started a fire, and it was burning fast. So, and the embers came quick. One song could ruin your gig, or it could build your gig up to a fire. Well, once that fire is lit, let the motherfucker burn. That's pretty much it. So, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and ring my bell for more notifications for videos like this and countless others. Go ahead and smash that like button. And peace out, my friends.